This week's Raw came to us from Columbus, Ohio. We had a main event of Braun Strowman versus Big Show, or Braun versus Big Show 2. We had Jeff Hardy's first singles match for 8 years, taking on the Swiss Superman Cesaro. We also had a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match for Bayley's Raw Women's title, which starred Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Mickie James, and Alexa Bliss. Also, there's plenty of other great segments throughout. Overall, did enjoy this show. I thought it definitely carried the momentum last week from the Superstar Shake-Up, and has definitely carried that forward going into the first pay-per-view out of WrestleMania Payback in a few weeks' time. So yeah, let's get into the review. We kicked off the show with Braun Strowman. Obviously, last week we left off with Braun absolutely decimating Roman Reigns, tipping the ambulance truck up, among many other things. Came out to an audacious reception as expected. He got a hero's welcome for doing when it's Roman Reigns. The promo that he cut was okay. They were definitely fishing for likes with him saying, "I'm proud to have beaten up Roman Reigns. I'm proud to have broken his bones. I'm proud to say that Roman's not here tonight." Definitely fishing for pops. It worked. They got what they wanted. I'm not sure if they're trying to build Braun as a face. It feels like they are doing, which means they're going to build Roman as a heel. I don't know. They did mention that Braun wasn't going to be here, that Roman wasn't going to be in the building that night. Kind of left the feeling in your mouth that he was. Or they always do that, don't they? Where they say someone's not going to be in the arena, and then they show up. But luckily, he didn't, which was nice. I like Roman Reigns, but it was nice to see how Raw got on without him. Turns out pretty well. Anyway, Kurt Angle interrupts him, means business. Comes down to the ring, tells him he can't do it whatever he wants. Braun Strowman gives him his or else line, and says he wants competition or else. Gets out of the ring. And that was the opening segment. It was different. It was nice. It was nice to see Braun Strowman in the opening segment. That was always sort of Kurt Angle, which was nice, as opposed to not seeing like authority and Mick Foley as we used to throughout the entire show. So it was nice to just see that little segment of Kurt Angle. It's nice to get him in short bursts. Good start to Raw. First match of the night, Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho got a United States title rematch going up against Kevin Owens at Payback. Samoa Joe got a match against Seth Rollins coming up at Payback. So these two faced off. Obviously got a little bit of history. Samoa Joe helping KO powerbomb Jericho to the table last week or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure. But yeah, these have got a bit of a rivalry going. The match was good. It was a nice start, nice first match for two of them. We had Seth Rollins on commentary, so we kind of built all the dynamics kind of around it. After the match, which Samoa Joe won in pretty convincing fashion, had a bit of a exchange between Joe and Rollins. Not really anyone getting the upper hand, really. It was kind of basic kind of chat between the two, basic promos between the two of them, nothing really major. But it did what it needed to do, carry the narrative. I still don't feel Seth Rollins. I still think he needs a bigger character. I'm not sure if they're going with this rivalry for a long time, whether it'll end after Payback, and it's just kind of something that's waiting for both. I feel there's bigger rivalries waiting for both Joe and Seth Rollins, but I feel like both of them need something more. This match will help. It'll be a great match, but they both need something more. The club then came down to the ring for a tag team match, supposed to be against Golden Truth if Braun hadn't taken them out, or else. Turned out it was against Enzo and Cass. Okay, we've had this a lot. These teams going at it a lot in the past. The match was average at best. It's what we've been seeing for a long time now. It was by no means great. It was just a tag match. Gallows and Anderson picking up the win, and Enzo and Cass again. They've slipped straight back into that rut they were in. Straight back into it after coming out of WrestleMania. Going into WrestleMania, a lot of people, including myself, was slightly confident they were going to walk away the champions, obviously before the Hardys got involved. And now they've gone straight back down into the bottom of the pile, straight away, immediately. And I feel sorry for them, because they do deserve some kind of title run or some kind of opportunity that isn't just coming out to the ring and losing. It's always Enzo as well. I know he's a smaller guy, but it's always a case of Cass clears the ring, kind of takes himself over the top rope, leaving Enzo by himself, who screws it all up and gets pinned. Doesn't make him look great. Luckily, the mic work is as good as it's always been, which carries them, but I do feel like they need more. Now, obviously, last week we saw the Superstar Shake-Up bringing over Miz, Maurice, and Dean Ambrose. This segment was we've got now with Miz TV introducing Dean Ambrose, or starting to introduce Dean Ambrose before he just came down himself. Anyway, I really enjoyed this promo. Now, I'm not a fan of Dean Ambrose, I said that before, mainly because of his mic work. It feels very forced, it feels very cheesy, it feels very awkward. This promo that he cut was a lot better. I'd say some of the best we've seen mic-wise from Dean Ambrose, 100%, and I think he'll work very well with Miz if they push this rivalry, which I really hope they do. And I hope he doesn't drop it straight away. Maybe a few different matches between the two of them, somehow just build the rivalry more into more matches. With Miz winning eventually, because I'd like to see the IC title back on him on Raw. But yeah, Miz again speaking to Dean Ambrose again, sounding like he was shooting. I feel that's a theme of Miz now. I feel like they're really building that into his character. The fact that when he speaks in promos, it sounds like a shoot. I really like that, to be fair. It's a nice touch for his character. But yeah, Dean Ambrose stood out for me a lot here, more than The Miz did. It sounded like he was speaking from his heart a little bit, almost like a shoot as well. And I really liked this segment. Dean Ambrose getting the upper hand, going for the dirty deeds, sending Miz running. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this rivalry. It's a nice segment. It's all that was needed. Didn't need to develop anymore. And it was good to see a couple of funny jokes from Dean Ambrose. Jokes that was actually funny. Like I said before, usually his jokes, you don't actually laugh at them because you know they're forced and rehearsed. These jokes come up within this segment felt actually decent. So yeah, good segment. Cruiserweight action now. Gentleman Jack Gallagher taking on heel TJ Perkins with Neville and Austin Aries ringside. Austin Aries eating his banana. Finally eating his banana, unless I missed him eat the banana before. Finally eating his banana, offered it to Neville. Neville moved his chair away from him like a child. It was quite funny, actually. The match itself, ran for about 5 minutes as usual with the Cruiserweights, and it was a decent match. There's a lot of different elements to it, a lot of fun elements, obviously with Neville and Aries on the outside as well, having little certain parts throughout the match. Ended when Austin Aries accidentally got involved. TJ Perkins pushing Jack Gallagher onto Aries, gets up on the apron before Neville takes him out. TJ Perkins gets the win. The win was clean, I would say. There was no kind of although there was heel moves throughout the match from TJ Perkins. The win itself was a clean win. He hit his finisher. No one actually hit Jack Gallagher or interfered. So it's a clean win, which was good, which was kind of good to see for TJP's character, not for Jack Gallagher, because I do feel like he should get a little bit more. The Cruiserweight as a whole needs something else to aim for, rather than everyone just going with this one title, which is only ever a singles match. But I guess that's hard to do. The Cruiserweight division definitely needs shuffling about and something else doing with it. But for now, what's at the top is what needs to be at the top. Neville, Austin Aries, TJ Perkins getting involved, being the advocate of Neville, which is really interesting. I really like it. And again, another match, Neville Aries 2, that I'm looking forward to payback and looking forward to seeing how TJ Perkins gets involved and how far they go with this TJ Perkins and Neville storyline. As advertised, we now got the women's fatal four-way match. Number one contender for Bayley's Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, and Mickie James. Obviously, Alexa Bliss and Mickie James coming over from SmackDown last week. Was going to be fun to see the kind of dynamic they had in the ring with the Raw women, and they had a good dynamic. This match was really good. It went for over 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes. The match was back and forth between all four of them, everyone getting involved, and everyone having the moment. Never felt slow, never felt rushed. It just felt at a nice pace and played out really, really well. It built the characters of a few of them really well. We just got the usual stuff from Nia Jax, kind of everyone jumping on her at the same time, trying to take her out, beast moding everyone. Sasha Banks teasing heel moves every now and again. Mickie James not doing much. Wanted more from her. She wasn't getting much of a reaction from the crowd. Alexa Bliss was fantastic. Again, like I said, I'm in love with her, but Alexa Bliss was fantastic. Building the character fantastically from the get-go. She's the one woman, other than Charlotte, I'd say, that is in character constantly. From the moment she walks through the apron to the moment she walks back through it, she's in character. She was in her hometown. The hometown, the crowd went mad for her. She didn't bite whatsoever. She kept in character, doing the whole "I don't need you" routine. Came down to the ring, dead-eyeing everyone, giving everyone evils. Then when the bell rang, she was out of the ring, trying to get out of the way. It was a great spot when she got onto the turnbuckle, about to jump. Saw Nia Jax. I was like, not for me. You guys just go ahead, and got back out of the ring. Towards the end, Nia Jax hitting a Simone drop on Sasha Banks, I believe, before Alexa Bliss runs in the ring, kicks Nia Jax out, and gets the pin 1, 2, 3 on Sasha Banks. Alexa Bliss is the new number one contender for Bayley's Raw Women's Championship. Now, this result, I like it. I think. Now, Alexa Bliss was in a very similar scenario back on SmackDown when she first drafted to SmackDown. She was a bit of an unknown, had come from NXT, and she won the number one contenders match in a very similar fashion, getting kind of the cheeky win and that pushed onto a platform which she has completely improved and completely shown everyone she deserved to be there. I think the same will happen here. I think a match against Bayley will be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing her go against Sasha Banks in the future. I think that will be fantastic. Overall, a good win. I was trying to picture what I'd think if the other people won. If Sasha won, it'd be a bit too obvious, a bit too really. You've got these new guys, and you just kind of keep going with the Sasha thing. Hey, Jax, I'm not a fan of. And we've seen Nia versus Bayley recently. Nikki James, like I said, the crowd weren't reacting to her, and I don't think that'd be a very great match between Bayley and Mickey James. So Alexa Bliss was the right person for me, although it felt kind of, here she's on Raw, here she's got the titles, the same way they did with Finn, with the Universal, the same they did with Hardys when they returned. Regardless, I do think this was the right result. I enjoyed it, and I'm definitely looking forward to Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. I love Alexa Bliss. And you know what? I'd love to see a win. Hell, I'd love to see her take the title off Bayley. Probably the worst part of the night for me now, and it was Finn Balor versus Kurt Hawkins. The reason it was the worst part, I got why they did it. Obviously, Finn Balor coming off of a possible concussion last week, didn't want him wrestling too much, just kind of getting him in there to see how he got on. The match was about 35 seconds long. Finn Balor destroyed him, hit the coup de grace for the 1, 2, 3, doing his usual thing. Feels sorry for Kurt Hawkins, drafted to Raw from SmackDown, where he was just getting beaten every week, to Raw, where he's now just getting beaten every week. He got knocked out by Big Show last week. He got beaten in 35 seconds by Balor this week. Feel sorry for the guy. I can't see him doing anything else, really, to be fair. He's got his stick. He looks bloody stupid, let's be honest. He's probably one of the most stupid-looking wrestlers on the roster. He seems like a good guy, but sorry, he's not going anywhere. So this segment didn't do anything for me. I got why they did it. They had to have Finn Balor kind of testing him, and the crowd wanted to see him. Although saying that, the pop was surprisingly quiet for Finn Balor. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but the pop was surprisingly quiet. Not sure why. I still feel like people definitely do like Finn Balor, but I'm not sure why the pop was so quiet. Bit of a curveball for me, this next bit. Bray Wyatt addressing Randy Orton. Now, Randy Orton's definitely on SmackDown. He definitely didn't draft. Bray Wyatt drafted, appeared to talk to Finn Balor, then appeared back on SmackDown to talk to Randy. And the commentators were saying that he drafted to Raw, but then he was back on SmackDown, and he still got a title match. Am I the only one that's confused about this? Because I'm really confused about this. I kind of really don't know what they're doing. Are they going with a Bray versus Finn rivalry? Are they teasing that for when Randy beats Bray, which he will? Obviously to keep the title on SmackDown because they need their title. Is that the case? Is it Raw Bray versus SmackDown Randy? Anyway, the promo teased the House of Horrors match. The sold it as the Sermon of the Snake or something, the Sermon of the Serpent or something like that. It teased the House of Horrors match. A lot of people talking about what that might entail. I think it'll be a letdown. I really don't think WWE are very good at pulling off these kinds of matches anymore. And it's a kind of gimmick you'd see back in the Attitude Era. The kind of gimmick that we saw with Final Deletion. It's going to be interesting, and I'm going to keep an open mind, but I've watched too much of WWE to just go all out and say this match is going to be great, because it's probably not. Semi-main event now, Jeff Hardy one-on-one with Cesaro. This is a match that on paper looks great. Now, if you've never seen or can't remember Jeff Hardy's singles matches back in WWE in kind of 07, 08, he had a great run with CM Punk. He had some great matches against The Undertaker, some great matches against Edge, great matches all around. You'd be surprised how well Jeff holds himself in singles competition. And he proved it in this match, if I'm being honest. The match again ran for 10 minutes, which was good to see, and they both kind of put it all out there. They both put on a show. It was kind of in and out of the ring, back and forth between the two of them. Really athletic, really fast-paced, just as you'd expect from both Cesaro and Jeff Hardy. In the end, Jeff Hardy picking up the win with the Twist of Fate and the senton. Twist of Fate looks more like a stunner. Cesaro sold it as a stunner, like a twisted stunner. The Twisted Stunner, I like that. But that's how Cesaro sold it. Worked anyway. Jeff hit the senton, got the 1, 2, 3. Obviously leading on to the tag title match at Payback, Hardys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. I like the dynamic they're still pushing with this, that they're kind of friends and they respect each other, but they know they've got to have a match against each other. And I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of different rather than just having the old hatred and the classic "I'm going to beat you because I'm better than you." They kind of feed comments in like that while being respectful to each other. So it's kind of boiling over, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens in this match. I think the Hardys are going to retain. I can't see them dropping the titles after a month, especially after that ovation they got at WrestleMania. But we'll have to wait and see. Quick talk about the backstage segments we got throughout the show. The first one was, I believe, one with Apollo Crews. Now, I said when he drafted, he wasn't going to do anything still. I don't think he's a fantastic athlete, don't get me wrong, but I don't see him. He just can't build a character together, and I'm not going to entirely blame it on the WWE creative, because they've given him a mic and he just can't produce, in my opinion, on the mic. And some superstars can get away with not doing that, and I don't understand it, because he's got so much charisma and energy in the ring, but you just don't care. Normally, when a superstar has loads of charisma, loads of energy, that's enough to keep you hooked onto that character. But with him, it's just not. And I don't know why. It just doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel authentic. And I feel like it's going to get the same on Raw. His segment was with Titus O'Neil, the Titus brand. You know, when you're drafting, you're putting into a story with Titus O'Neil, it's probably not going to end very well for you. I interviewed with Chris Jericho, with Tom, or whatever his name was. Obviously, the joke between Chris Jericho and the interviewers. Discussing title match with Kevin Owens. Classic Jericho promo. Brilliant to see. Loved it. Found it hilarious, as always, was Chris Jericho. Got the Drifter walking through in the back, obviously teasing him coming out on Raw. I like that they're doing that, and I hope they do that for quite a while, actually. I've just seen him show up on Raw, and it's inevitable that when he does have a match, it's probably going to be a letdown, so he can just keep drifting for as long as he wants. The main clips throughout the show was, of course, of Braun Strowman destroying everyone in his path. He started with the Golden Truth, taking out, obviously, Goldie and R-Truth, and then moved on to Kalisto, throwing him in the dumpster, which I loved. I absolutely loved. There was nothing better than seeing than Kalisto getting thrown in a bin. I'd rather it be Jinder Mahal had he not drafted, but we can't always have what we want, can we? So Kalisto will do. He then walks on before getting absolutely taken out by the Big Show. That was great. The look on Braun Strowman's face was fantastic, selling it like a beast. Big Show saying, pick us on your own size. This led to, of course, the main event, Big Show versus Braun Strowman 2. The main event itself was just as good as the last one, I'm not going to lie. It went for almost 15 minutes, and when someone says to you, if it's kind of a year ago, Braun Strowman versus Big Show, 15 minutes, you'd have gone, wow, I'm going to go for a toilet break during that, a long toilet break, and play my phone for 15 minutes on that toilet break. But no, everyone was gripped, everyone was on their feet. Like I said, it was just as good as the last match. We got like weird athletic ability from Braun Strowman again with a keep up with a running drop kick. Didn't carry the match though. Big Show held his own throughout the entire match. Both superstars looking fantastic. This is a match we should have had at WrestleMania, in my opinion, but we didn't get it. Unfortunately, the match ended with another glorious ring failure. We've obviously seen Big Show before, getting suplexed by Brock, breaking the ring, getting suplexed by Mark Henry, breaking the ring. Third time's a charm. This time Braun Strowman with the superplex from the second rope, destroying the ring. The best thing about it was that the referee got absolutely floored. Out of all three clips of Brock, Mark Henry, and Braun, this is by far the best, purely based on the ref. He just disappears. I think he loses his footing down the side of the ring as he collapses, and he's just gone. When you rewatch it, watch the ref, because it's hilarious. But the match itself, again, like I said, was great. The ending was great. It should have had Mick Foley, shouldn't have, to reinforce the ring, I guess, like he did last time. Oh well, can't angle, don't give a shit. It was a main event, don't need the ring anymore. It's fine. But yeah, crowd lost their minds, and it made Braun Strowman look an absolute beast. It made him look like the juggernaut that he should be. And yeah, it was a great end to Raw. What's interesting is, like I said, the way they built Braun and the way they are building Braun. We didn't have Roman at all this week, and it worked. I don't think it'd work in the long run if we didn't have him for a long amount of time. It'd be interesting to see how long he's off TV, but I would like him back at some point, just to carry on the narrative between Braun and Roman rather than just Braun and himself. But they're building Braun like an absolute tank like an absolute juggernaut. Brock also on with Brock not on TV, with Roman not on TV. Braun kind of feels like the top guy on Raw right now. Obviously Finn Balor's just easing himself back in. Seth has got that thing going on with Joe. Braun Strowman definitely feels like the top guy, and it doesn't feel weird, doesn't feel awkward, doesn't feel wrong. It feels like he should be the top guy, which is weird to say because I'm not usually a fan of big guys like Braun Strowman. I usually think they're slow movers, slow workers, and they're not usually entertaining. Braun's a complete anomaly to that rule. He's fantastic to watch in the ring, and he's not that bad on the mic. He's getting so much better on the mic, and I cannot wait for the clash between him and Roman Reigns. What I don't get is that we got that match at Fastlane. I've mentioned this before, and it was a clean win for Roman, so they're just kind of pointlessly pushing this rivalry on as if it's waiting for something else. But like I said, with Brock out and with Roman out, they're pushing Braun Strowman like a beast, and bit worried it's going to lead to a title match against Brock where Roman's going to interfere and cost him the match, and then that's going to be it for Braun. I'm hoping he stays in the title picture a lot longer, or the main event scene a lot longer, or just gets a really, really good rivalry after. Even if he gets pulled out of the title picture, still gets something to bite his teeth into, because it'd be a shame if they lose kind of track of what they've got going with Braun. Overall, guys, I'm sure you can tell, I love this Raw. I thought it was a good Raw. If people are hating on it, then they need to just stop watching the product, because, again, I've said this before, I don't know what they expect. It did what it needed to do. You don't like Roman, they got rid of Roman. We had the Hardys in action, we had Finn Balor in action, we had an awesome main event, we had the ring breaking, we had a number one contenders match, we got Alexa Bliss winning the number one contenders match. We got Kurt Angle. It was a good Raw. It was a really good Raw. It wasn't great by any means, but there was no terrible points. There was no point of this Raw where I thought that just wasn't needed, wasn't relevant, was pointless. If anything, the worst parts were obviously Finn versus Kurt, just because it didn't build anything, and probably Enzo and Cass versus Gallows and Anderson, because we've seen it before. Again, didn't go anywhere, didn't build anything. Nothing's really changed in the status quo between those two teams. And yeah, that was it. Although that saying that, it wasn't a boring segment. It just was an average segment. So there was no terrible segments at all this week, almost. No, there wasn't. Everything was either average or great. Good Raw. Thank you for watching as always, guys. If you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything I've said. You can follow my thoughts on Twitter at run_the_ropes. Other than that, check back later this week for SmackDown Live review.